India win the series. India win the series. Let's just roll with that. India win the series 2-1. Australia made 186 in the final match. That wasn't enough. India did it with... They did it with one ball to spell. I don't like the purity of that because they did it on the second last ball. Anyway. And some guys did some stuff. But that was... You know what, actually? Being serious now, that was actually a really good series.
Yep.
Actually, and that game was like fucking... There was some high-quality cricket being played in that. I actually enjoyed that series, which I was surprised about given the unnecessary element to it.
Well, you've conceded a lot as a man there.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
wow.
He goes...
He's a man with emotion who cares about things. No,
I
agree.
in the comments why that's a weakness.
I agree. I think the last game encapsulated the closeness of the series. The last game ebbed and flowed. Australia got off to a flyer. India brought it back. It was toing and froing in the second innings though as well. I thought India was always in front, but it was 11 off the last over. Some guys did some stuff, but I think India were deserved winners of the series quite comfortably. Australia had some good players and shit, but ultimately India came through. Yep. It's got lots of permutations for the World Cup as well. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. Here's the first of the three things. In Australia's innings, Cam Green's fastest 50. That's the fastest 50 ever against India.
Yeah. In men's cricket.
In men's cricket when the match has been played in Hyderabad. When it starts on it.
When David Warner's doing an Insta Live with the Orange Army on Instagram, but then you click it and it's actually scrambled and you think, he plays for Delhi. What happened there? I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. Look, I think India is the story today, he goes, but Cameron Green, it was...
Australia's done some stuff
here. It was
here.
Cricket shots
we liked
and it was clubbing as well. You mentioned that. It was the third quickest ever T20 50 for Australia, behind Finch and Maxwell.
Only one ball less. Only one ball less than the record,
right,
which is Maxwell and Warner.
What did I like about it?
What did you like about it?
Well, he's the orange cap. Completely unafraid of Bumrah, who went for 50 in this game.
That's the most he's ever conceded.
Right, okay. And Axar Patel. Normally when Axar Patel, with his relationship with the stumps that we explored in the last show, people get out of the way when he's bowling at the stumps. Not Green. Green cut him. Green dealt with him.
Swept him.
Went for 14 from 3 overs with the ball, by the way. Didn't get his fourth over. Probably should have got a fourth over there.
Well, Cummins is sort of, he buys 4 overs every time. So
that's a good point.
Good eyes, nice eyes.
Green was Australia's best performer in this series.
Yep.
That's interesting for a guy who's not in the World Cup squad at the moment. They need to get him in somehow. I don't know what it is. It's an injury. It's a mishap. It's what is someone's got to go missing. I don't know. Does Rahane need to get involved? Is he for can we hire him?
He's too busy asking guys to leave the field.
Leave the
field.
Well, I mean, if Rahane says go, then you go.
You fucking go.
He needs to do something like that in the Australian side. We don't know who for. I can name some names. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying Cameron Green's got to play. Rahane
is one murder away from taking a cat into second slip and just stroking it. Jaiswal will leave the field now.
Leave the field.
Other moments in this first innings, we like what we've seen with Tim David here. In Australia, there's some chat around him is he the best finisher in cricket at the moment? He's in the conversation at least. But fuck me, we saw some stuff there for the first time for Australia. What did he get? 50 off 24, 25 balls, something like that. And actually batted quite nicely with Dan Sams, who actually had a pretty good game. I say actually like it's a surprise, but so there was that as well. But I do think, like from an Indian perspective, Axar Patel for the series, he takes another 3 wickets in this game. For the series, he finished was like 8 for 64, and that's obviously how you reflect on any sort of longevity. And then
went 6 and over.
6 and over for the series. The most anyone else got in the series was 3 wickets. So he's taken 8 for 64 in the series. So he's pretty good. I reckon he might be looking forward to a game or two in the Test series in February and March. I reckon he'll have a look at that.
He's an outstanding player. I mean,
is he the best bowler in the world ever? It's fucking amazing.
He's
amazing. It's amazing.
He's a great player. I mean, he was taken down a bit by Green. And still came back with his 3 for 30 or whatever it was. Yeah. Really good player.
So Australia made 186 off their 20 for 7, and then let's get into the second thing: vintage VIRAT and Sky 360.
Yeah. This is it.
This is the game here. I mean, Virat Kohli has a pretty decent record against Australia, so there's that. And then Suryakumar Yadav is just an unbelievable touch and has been for the last little while. But these two guys, they put on about 100 off 60 balls, I think it was.
104 off 62.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, like I said it in the stats way, and you said it as a cricketer would. It was 100 off 60 odd. That's actually how people talk. Truly. That's just 100 off 60 odd. Let's go. Let's play.
I want to talk about the spirit of cricket later. So Virat gets 63 or 48. Started like a house on fire and sort of just calmed the waters a little bit and let Sky do his things. I mean, some of these fucking shots that both these guys play are just it's scary stuff.
Yeah.
And it does bode well for the World Cup. But KL Rahul failed again. Rohit Sharma, big old railway sleeper there. Makes it look easy, but he didn't get going either. But Kohli and Yadav, I mean, what do you want to say about those two guys, Pez? They seem like they're pretty good at cricket.
There's something
pretty good at cricket batting.
I want to talk about Virat because I thought I saw something with Virat in this game. I thought I saw something. Well, I didn't see it in the dead rubber ton.
Pez, first of all, dropped on 23.
Oh, God. No, truly. Like, I love Virat. I do. Like, I think it's often when we talk about sports people, it's hard to compare people. Like, consistency is important and all that kind of stuff. But one way you can do it to control the variable is just to think, well, what are they like at their best? You know, when they're at their best, who's the best? And Virat is, I mean, well, it's more than up there. I'm afraid of saying it's the best, but fucking hell, like, and I didn't see this in the dead rubber ton, but like when Kohli, I wrote this down. When Kohli's hitting them well, there's like a unique kind of fluidity and fluency and elasticity to his body. And then with the way he hits the ball and then what the ball does afterwards, it is all in sync. I don't know how to describe this better. Like this is going to sound weird, although people who watch this this channel shouldn't be surprised by that.
How are you going to turn this into a sex thing? Let's find out.
No. when Kohli's on song, the body, bat, and ball almost become one. The ball slingshots off the body and the bat in a way that is more symmetrical than any other player. Like it's not the Shastri trace a bullet thing. It's just there's some kind of synthesis to the whole thing where he just kind of absorbs the rhythm of the ball and sends it, and it's all one.
Yeah.
And the only way I can explain it is like if you've ever been to a gig and watched like a virtuoso guitarist, like a solo guitarist in a band or something, when they play, the guitar and the notes that come out of it, they all flow from the body. It's all one. It's all one thing. What the fuck's this guy talking about? I wrote this down because I thought I saw this in some of his shots last night. Cosmic combination of power, timing, synthesis, symmetry. Like they say, symmetry lies at the heart of beauty. It's everything in its place, separate and together. I just saw last night with Kohli, a couple of his shots. It was like, there's something. I'm seeing that line of credit they extended. He's starting to pay back now, and I think it augurs well. And Kohli, the way they chase this down, India, because India's been in not all sorts, but they've been struggling for the last couple of months. Really, they haven't been their best. Australia, once again, like they did in Adelaide with 36, Australia's played them into form. Thanks to that's their service to the Asian century. But like when it's working for Kohli, it works for India. Like the whole thing revolves around it. All of a sudden he looks good at three. All of a sudden, you know, one of KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma will score runs. Right. Suryakumar Yadav, he's probably not the best middle order batsman in the world yet, but I reckon after this World Cup he might be. You know, he's just got to do it on a big stage. But DK has finished everything that he's been asked to finish. Axar Patel's a great player. Hardik Pandya's sort of got his life together and he's a big old alpha. It just when Kohli's doing his symmetry thing, it all works around it. Yeah,
and also Oreo's doing a thing where they released some stuff in 2011 and they won the World Cup and now they're involved with it. So and Oreo has always been the 12th man of Indian cricket, haven't they?
That's actually the last thing that I had here. I guess what I'm saying is I thought Kohli hit him well.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah, I guess. Now, I mean, for me, I thought he was very lucky in Australia bowled poorly.
There was one shot that Sky played, I mean, where
he... under cover?
Yeah,
mate, what the fuck is that?
Second tier, back away, over cover, second tier.
You know, broadly, when they play more traditional shots, and like, if you've played any cricket. Like, you sort of understand it a bit.
Yeah.
I see that, and it's so foreign to me that it's a different sport.
Yeah.
Like, I completely take your point with Kohli. Something about Yadav, the way he's played maybe the last 12 or 18 months, where it's more than everything's coming together. But fuck me, like, everything's coming together.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a thought.
Well, they're two different types of players. I know they bat next to each other.
Yeah.
In the innings, but like Sky's, he's 31, but
he's been around.
He plays like with the unrestricted mentality of a young person. You feel like if you didn't know him, you'd be like, oh, this is a new guy in the side who's kind of taking it to everybody and hasn't been worn down or scarred by like the brutality of international cricket.
Yeah.
He's not playing for his career or anything like that. He just comes in and boshes immediately. And some of the shots are just sensational to watch. Like that shot over cover, I mean, biomechanically, you are to be moving ostensibly away from the ball and then to send it in the opposite direction at complete velocity into the second tier of the crowd, that is just exquisite timing and power and everything. So yeah, they batted well.
I mean, there's small grounds in India. You got to think back to that.
Yeah, you got Hardik's jab over long on as well. Just sort of, I don't know.
The grounds in Australia are much bigger, therefore something.
Oh, the boys are hurt today. that was a difference. That partnership was a difference.
Well, I thought in the context of the game, Australia sort of lost their way in their innings where they lost 3 or 4 wickets quite cheaply after when Cam Green got out, he scored 52 of the 66 runs in the power play. Stat dog, woof woof. And then they sort of lost their way, whereas India never had any of that sort of issues. I mean, then Pandya comes in and hits 25 of 16. Dinesh Karthik, one of the all-time great finishers, 1 off 1. So job done for him. And I think Punch should never play again. Let's get into the third thing, Pez, which I've written down somewhere. India #1 in the world again. This is the ninth. Bilateral series they've won in a row. They've been winning heaps of games. I guess it's just down to tournament play now, isn't it? Does it mean anything?
Yeah. Well, I think it does. I think ahead of this series, they looked very out of shape as a side, imbalanced India, and just after the Asia Cup. And I think after this series, the side makes a lot more sense. And I think I started with that before. Like, I don't think Virat's been at the party very much in the last couple of months. I know he's made some contributions, but I'm setting that by Virat standard there. Sure. And I just thought Virat seems to the party's on. Virat's in the party now. Yeah. And actually, a lot of people are gathering around him at the party, and he's holding court, and he looks good, and he's wearing a nice little button up.
Fuck, that's a great feeling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his sleeves are
sleeves
are rolled up just so the vectors are going. And
sleeve just peeking out the bottom of the sleeve.
Yeah, a little bit of biceps. You've been doing some work, and there's a little glint in the eye, and I just think it makes India work, and he bats well in Australia. But then on top of that, I'm like, I said, like Hardik's a big old alpha. DK finishes everything. Axar and Chahal, they're as formidable a spin duo as anyone else in the world. Jasper Brummer's one of the best T20 bowlers of all time. Yeah. I feel they're a bit short with BVK and Harshal, but they've performed in big matches. I'd like to see Arshdeep Singh in there. For one of those two. I don't know who, but I feel like they come out of this series, India, they've beaten, a strong side, and they know they play well in Australia, and I think it's actually been a very productive series for them. It would have been nice for them to bat first and win a game, but otherwise.
Yeah, well, Finch lost a toss here, so that's actually going to hurt his chances to captain this side in the World Cup if he keeps doing that. I think from the Australian perspective, the team that we support sometimes is that... I think Australia's actually played really well. No, like they've left out Stark, Stoinis, Warner rested, Marsh as well. But like I think the guys who have come in have also performed well. And I don't necessarily know if those guys who would be first name they would be in the team. Don't know if they would have necessarily performed better. I mean, look at Cameron Green, who's not even in the squad, who's been Australia's best performer, leading run scorer of the 3-match series, etc. So I think I really like what I see from Australia. I know they'll lose a series, but there's just heaps of elements here. I think Australia's actually got a really good team, and they are equal favourites going into the World Cup in a month or so time. And I think that what's happening in Pakistan and England in that series as well, there's some fucking really exciting teams heading into this World Cup, and it'll be interesting what happens when South Africa comes next. They play 3 T20s, don't they? Next, so I think it all bodes pretty well. But despite Australia losing these last 2 games, I think Australia's played well, and I like it. I think there's something there.
Well, I think two of their best players were Cameron Green and Tim David, neither of whom are for different reasons, like even a shorter start in the side. I thought Zampa bowled quite well.
Yeah.
But even, Australia's other good bowler was Nathan Ellis.
Yeah.
Is he going to play? Steve Smith in the T20 side, he
Yeah.
failed this season. I'm just trying to give it the other side.
Sure.
Give the other side. Glenn Maxwell missed out. He was run out in this game.
Scrum to his hand. Very angry with his own hand.
Like Aaron Finch again, it was 1 or 2 contributions, but didn't win a game for Australia.
God, hurts when there's a guy at the other end who just looks like the best player that we've produced in 30 years.
Finch was okay. I get it was better than what he had been before. Finch was okay. Smith missed out. Maxwell missed out. Josh Inglis probably won't play in the side. Matthew Wade was an upside.
Yep.
And then a lot of the other guys who make up the nucleus of that team, like Mitch Marsh and Mitch Stark and Stoinis has been in the side, and David Warner didn't play. So there is another argument that all the guys who aren't meant to play in the Australian side did well, and then only a couple really performed. Cummins didn't produce. So I don't, but Zampa was good. So yeah, I think India comes out of this series in much better shape than what they were going into. And Australia will be confident in Australia anyway.
Hashtag ASKTGC. Suprapatra said, boys genuinely seem hurt today, rather. Pez, are you hurt? Are you hurting? How do you feel deep down inside?
And Suprapatra's talking about the last game, right?
Yeah.
And I may as well. So the last game's probably
we were hurting.
I was hurting in a way, though that it had no emotional relationship to
really
cricket.
linked to the cricket.
It's kind of more of a physical reaction you have to celebrations.
Sort of excess.
Yeah, that's right. The next day and sort of sleep and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So I guess I was hurting in that sense.
They picked it up. Yeah. Good read.
I don't know. People. This is the internet. I'm meant to say now, I'm not owned. But by saying I'm not owned, I am owned.
Yeah.
So there's no, if that's what you want to see.
Sure.
If that's what you want to see, then that's what you're going to get. But, it's much more complicated relationship to cricket than that I have. And I'm sure it is with you. You get taught or you learn, you get conditioned maybe, and we did about 10, 15 years ago to stop feeling much when it came to cricket, maybe because of the hurt that it had caused. So it's
inevitable hurt.
It's an ongoing hurt, and if that's what Subra's talking about, then but he didn't need to use the word today. It's just the boys seem genuinely hurt. Yeah, because that's what cricket did to us probably by the end of our careers 15 years ago. And that's what this series has done to this nation state. Yeah. Absolutely fallen to absolute bits. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for the main podcast where there's obviously a fair bit going on in the old world of cricket there. Plenty of views on the internet. One of which we'll be adding to that to those voices. So absolutely frothing at the chops for that. Frothing at the chops for that. See you guys later.